And this is the Patriot coming at you from the Rocky Mountain Museum, the Knife and Tool Works. And I've got a cool episode here. We're going to get into a category that is not commonly shared. So if you love history and you love knives and things, this might be right up your alley. I will share 3 old slip joint pocket knives I picked up yesterday. Talk a little bit about them right at the end of this episode. But I'm talking right here, American Primitive Knives. And I got 3 books I'm going to share with you. And these 2 books you could probably find at a bookstore or on eBay maybe, Amazon. But this knife here is a recent acquisition. I think about 4 days ago I picked this up. And this is a primitive knife. This is a cool piece. I don't run across stuff like this very often anymore. I have been collecting historical American Indian artifacts and knives and colonial Revolutionary War items and just old primitive cowboy stuff for years, for over 4 decades. This is a sweet find here, folks. This was in a little junk antique mall in a glass case. And I saw it down in there, and it had an $8 price tag on it. And I was like, I had the gal get it out, take it up front. I'm buying this. You don't run across stuff like this that often, folks. I threw a little bit of linseed oil on it. But here's a primitive knife, very likely American Indian, in a dagger style, with an old tool handle here, an old hickory tool handle, copper rivets, an old nail. Old nails making up the handle here. Awesome, sharp, thin, kind of a dagger style blade. Nice piece. I've got a lot of stuff like this. You just don't run across stuff like this very often. Now, a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, you're going to pretty much have to go to a museum to see stuff like this. Or once in a while, if you go to an old West gun show, there might be a few guys that have some neat stuff like this. But yeah, that's a $8 find, folks. Yeah. So I'm located in Bannock, Shoshone Indian country, Idaho, right along Montana, Wyoming, Utah to the south, and Nevada. And stuff like this, I found a lot of this kind of stuff in northern Cal, Nevada, southern Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and some of the areas like this, because that's where I have found a lot of my American Indian items. And so that's a cool knife, folks. I'm going to show you, we're going to look at this book right here, and I'll show you, I'll pick out some knives that are kind of similar to that and give you an idea kind of what to look for if you're out. If you're out and you're looking for pocket knives, and yeah, look at this. Yeah. Let me get some more light in here. Let the light shine. Okay. Early belt type knives. This is a great book. True Antiques. Yeah. Now, you talk about, on the historical realm of things, folks, items like this are just, to me, fascinating because, man, if these things would speak, a lot of times, items like this have been found in old barns. They've been found out in the desert. I got a knife, Paiute Indian knife that was found along Pyramid Lake in the 1930s. Yeah, so you get what I'm talking about here. Yeah, pretty cool. This is a great book, folks. American Primitive Knives by Gordon Minnis. Great one for the library. I love, good old American pocket knives and a lot of things, but my interest is pretty broad. And I love history, especially the American Indian, Old West, Civil War, Revolutionary War. That's kind of right up my alley. And so for years, going back over 4 decades, I started just getting an interest in it and learning, and and getting a good eye and knowing how to pick when you're out looking for things. Because if all you're ever looking for is just an old pocket knife, you're going to pass up a lot of things. So I've learned to try to really have more of a broad mindset when it comes to cool collectible items. So this is a great book right here too, Knives and Homespun America by Madison Grant. This one might be signed too. I've got some of these that are signed by the author, but this one really has some neat art drawings. Look at that, man. Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, man, the old fur trade, the old West era, the old trappers. This is a great book, man. This gets into it. Give you an idea. These are kind of big buoys here. I got knives very similar to this. Just a blade stuck into deer antler. Very cool, huh? Yep. Yeah, so you get into, let's go back here a little ways. I know in this book here you get into all the different styles of knives, even primitive folders. But yeah, that's my new edition right there, man. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna show you one more book. This book you may not be able to acquire. I think they only made so many copies, but this is Great Knife Makers for the Early West by James Gordon. This one is signed, and this is neat because it covers Russell, Green River knives, and the early Sheffield trade knives from the fur trade era. It gets into some of the American makers, probably going all the way up to about 1900. Yeah, here you go. There's a nice Russell right there. But it gets into the early primitive, and it gets into the styles of knives. It covers butcher knives. Yeah, this is a great book. Great book for the library. Gets in all the different types. There's dags. This is considered more of a dag. See that blade? Let me show you here. Yeah. Kind of gets more into a dag style knife here. Skinners. Bowie knives. Yeah. Feast your eyes, folks. If you go to Old West gun shows, sometimes you can pick up items like this. But most of the time, this even has, gets into tomahawks. And here's one right here. Look at that. Yeah. Very cool. Gets into some axes. Just an amazing book, really cool. If you can pick this up, I highly recommend it. I think there was only a few hundred copies of that book made. And But yeah, well, I'll share these recent finds here. I picked these up yesterday. That's a Boker, probably from the early 60s. It's the black. It's not bone. I just needed cleaned up. I went into a thrift store and they had about 20 knives in a little basket. A lot of them were in rough shape. A lot of them were junk. But I picked these out. And they were $12 a knife in the basket. And these are the ones that I picked out, the best ones. Most of them were junk, but neat little Camillus What a Knife model here. Made in the late 90s. Right in there. That's a cool knife there. Cleaned it up. This is probably the best find right here. This is a nice, cool, kind of a red bone. Right here, you can see the bone shining through the light, the little iridescent. And this is a John Primble Belknap hardware from the probably early 60s, late 50s. I'm going to say 50s here. And yeah, I cleaned them up. There's your stamp. And on the back here, it's got the number and a star underneath it. And I was looking on a couple websites, and they were saying if it has a star, it was made by Boker. But this wasn't made by Boker. This is a Camillus knife all the way. You can just tell by the blade style and the pattern itself, too. So this is a neat little Camillus made knife for Belknap hardware, John Primble. Love that bone. Sort of a reddish orange. That's a nice find. Tight little knife, clean. Great knife for $12. And yeah, this Boker's cool. Some of the snaps coming back on this main blade here. That's an early Boker tree brand. That snap is coming back on that blade. There was tape all over the blade and stuff. I think some of the tape stuff got down inside the hinge here. But yeah, this is a nice little, nice little knife here. Most of you know what pattern this is. Yeah, that's a cool knife. All right, those are, that's a nice find. I love finding stuff like that. I've got a case here. I'm going to end this here. But this is a case of, I pulled it out because I'm going to add this American Indian primitive knife into this case. Another edition. Yeah. So I've got a American Indian pipe bag in here. Antique Blackfoot beaded knife sheath there. Got some beadwork in here. Some beaded knife sheaths. Yeah, let's just take a quick glance at this one here. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. This is my favorite one right here. This is a Ute Indian knife sheath here. It's got the little dangles there, little tin cones. Just wonderful, authentic beaded work on this one here. Very old. The Ute tribe, Utah and Colorado. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see here, I got primitive knives in here. I've got tomahawks. Yeah. So I'll be adding that puppy into the collection here. There's a primitive knife from the Revolutionary War era. I'll be sharing some of this stuff. Yep. And you, like I say, you're not going to see this stuff unless you go to a museum. Revolutionary War hawk. Look at that. Yep. Early mid 1700s with the original amazing old handle. Yeah. All right, folks. Yeah, I dig the primitive stuff. I love it. Everybody stay safe. Coming from the Rocky Mountain Museum of Historical Artifacts, Knives, Tools, Tomahawks, you name it, I can cover it. God bless everyone. Stay safe. Have a good rest of the weekend.